He's here, he's here, he's here, he's here. Oh, I should maybe write some lyrics to this, huh? Hello, hello, hello. 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 All right, honey, that's enough of that. Thank you all for joining me. I am really excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here that I'm like sweaty, just spitzing or whatever it is that people say. I am William Bryant Miles. I think that's my name. But matter of fact, you can just call me WBM. And guess what? This is Wake Up with WBM. For all of you that don't know, this is a late night morning talk show where we do kind of whatever the fuck we want to do. For the last month, I was playing with makeup and wigs. That's not going to be the case today, but we're still going to have a good time. I am a sweaty mess. I don't know where you guys are, but we're based here. Our studio is in New York City. And it wasn't that hot today, but the humidity was just playing nasty, nasty, nasty games. And so I am excited to be able to be here with you all, but I may be giving you a little bit of a glow, a little bit of a gloss, a little bit of a dew. So what we're going to talk about today is basically how everything old is new. And what I mean by that is kind of like, part of me understands it, right? Like, there's a lot going on in the world. If you work in the entertainment industries, television, music, especially television and film and theater, most especially, you haven't been able to put music and dance as well. I'm going to lump dance with theater for this point. You haven't been able to get into the lab and to create. So a lot of folks are just creating old shit based on, you know, what was either creating old stuff or they just straight up are just sharing old stuff that they'd already had. So I have a fun little game we're going to play in just a second. But there were a couple of new things. For those of you who are not all caught up, this is the first week in a long time that we don't have anything to talk about new from Black, Gay, and On Screen, because that was a month-long exploration for the month of June. If you aren't aware, June has transcended into July, and so July I'm just catching my breath and handling some things, but I promise you that August is going to be really exciting. I have some things lined up, and there's lots of new projects lined up. My website is going to go live. We've got our pins and all of that, so I'm really, really excited about all of that. But one thing that I teased last week that I am going to talk about just a little bit, just a tip, was I May Destroy You. So for those of you that don't know, I May Destroy You is a new show produced by the BBC, and it's on HBO. Well, they're like in partnership, but BBC is the lead, I believe, on that. And that is, I'm just, heads up, there are going to be some spoilers. I've been trying to wait with you guys. I'm going to try not to talk too much about what happened this week, but the first 4 episodes are fair game. If you don't want to enjoy that, then I would say leave and come back by 7:12 or 7:15. I should be done talking about that, if not before, but that should be the safe zone. The show deals with all the different ways in which people give consent, don't give consent, are raped, or all of it around sexual assault, and just like the many, many blurry areas. It's created by Michaela Cole. If you don't know, she was the creator of Chewing Gum and the writer of that, and also the star of that. She's a Black British super talent, and I just have to say that Miss Thing is the poo. Take a whiff. And the reason why I really think that this show is so massively created is that I've had multiple conversations about, and in-depth conversations about the show, and so many different points come up, right? And I think, to me, what makes the show masterful, and we've had these conversations on here with you guys, but also in my personal life about Insecure and so many other shows that exist, or films, you know, Queen and Slim, Uncorked, and not just stuff about Black people. And the thing is, sometimes the work doesn't hold up to that kind of interrogation. And so either we talk about it for a second and we all are like, yep, we're in agreement, you know, it's a wrap. Or someone, me, pokes a hole in something and you're like, oh yeah, that it's exploded. But it was like every time I tried to, I'm not gonna say I tried to poke a hole, but every time I asked a provocative question about I May Destroy You, I was met with the recognition that like, wow, there's something that supports kind of any interpretation that you may have of the work and any kind of point of view that you want to go into it on. There's some things happened in the last episode, which I said I'm not going to get too in depth with, that made me kind of just like, I'm over Terry. Terry is her best friend, or one of her very good friends. She's lame. Like, I don't see it for her. But beyond that, they're doing some really great work, and they talk about a lot of different things. They talk about stealthing, which is when a person, puts a condom on to begin the sexual act, but then takes it off mid-act. And the way that they handled it was really... One thing with this show, and this is part of why I'm hesitant to talk about it here, but I'm doing it anyway, is that it's clear that you have to stick with this, because what you think happened, or what, some of my questions after watching last week's episode 4, here in the United States, were answered in this week's episode. Nick Stevie said, I hate best friends. How do I hate best friends? I have like 45 of them. How do I hate best friends? Just Molly. And I don't hate Terry, but I'm over her, and I don't really understand her. But they deal with gay sexual assault, like and what makes everything so complicated, I love it, is that nothing is super clean, right? Like, they deal with things where people were using drugs and then they have a sex, something happens with them. And so I love that it wasn't Lifetimey and just super clean, where it's like someone gets bopped over the head, or you just know, which is like, that is explicitly, there is no debate, there's no conversation to be had. And I do think that all of these things that we're going to discuss are sexual assaults or rape. I don't know the difference in that language. Like, legally, I don't want to overstep my bounds, but for me, I'm going to use them interchangeably for the rest of this conversation. I think, until I decide that I won't, and I'll tell you that point. But I think that, they make it nice and messy. There's sexual assault where a person had already consented to one sex act with the person, but then it becomes something else. So I just think that you guys need to watch it. And I said I was going to go in depth, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, no, because whatever I say, I just think I need to talk about that at the end of the series. Unpack that. What is that? You say what it is, I'll come back to it. But yeah, or maybe you were talking about me saying like sexual assault versus rape. I don't know. I need to get a specialist in here. I don't want to trigger nobody up. I don't want to step on no minefields. Y'all see Chef Roble got canceled today, child. Although I'm like, can you cancel? It's like calling the cable company to tell them that you want to cancel your service, and then the cable company is like, we don't have you on record as being a customer. So it's like, can you cancel something that's not even a customer? Don't know. But, so yeah, so that's that on that. But yeah, it gets nice and messy and mixy. If you're triggered by drug use or sexual assault, this obviously is not the show for you. For those wondering what Chef Roble got canceled for, basically somebody posted something talking about men who were attracted to trans women, and basically just saying that, that is not their responsibility to manage who is attracted to them or what people are attracted to. Like, that is up to the individual to deal with, and it's no one's fault, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a fault per se, but yeah, I gotta stop shaming folks for being trans attracted, and you have to stop denying your own trans attractions. And then Chef Roble, I only saw one outlet cover this, but based on what I saw, no one asked Chef Roble for his opinion or who he was attracted to, and he basically was like, people die over this. And I get that he was trying to be like progressive and saying like, you guys can't be triggering folks up, but he just sounded really dumb and transphobic and stupid. And it's just like, you could just say nothing, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so weird to me how people choose to get riled up about certain stuff. It's me, I'm people, I get riled up over the most random things. But I like to think that I'm not problematic in that way. I'm problematic because I'm a greasy ball of sweat right now. But that's that. So the other thing that was new was this weekend, Noah's Ark, and I shouldn't have put air quotes because it absolutely was new, but Noah's Ark aired a reunion episode, which was 15 years after the series started in 2005, and 12 years after the movie, which wrapped up the series, came out in 2008. For those of you that don't know, Noah's Ark was a game-changing series that centered black gay men in loving and healthy, sometimes unhealthy, but, you know, real relationships, romantic, platonic, and otherwise. Kind of like the simplest thing to say is like, you know, the gay black Sex in the City. Ooh, just kicking the whole situation. The gay black Sex in the City. And I commented on this in my Black Gay on Screen series, and I'll say it here that series, that show for me was like a life-affirming moment. It was a watershed moment. It came out as I was finishing up my college years, and I really got into it right after college. I was dating someone at the time that kind of tracked with some of the things happening, but it was just really exciting to see myself on screen, and it was wonderful. The film, I have to be honest, I did not love the film as much. Logo did a very weird thing. It was on Logo at the time, which was a niche. I guess Logo was still out, but it was a channel just for gay content. And they, as the show was just getting momentum and being really popular, they canceled it. You know, whatever. I would love to get Pashki and Poke to the table. Come to the red table. The yellow table. You guys can't see, but my table's actually yellow. Come, let's have a yellow table talk and, you know, understand why that was canceled. They did a film. The film didn't do the world that they created justice. But it was sentimental. It was sweet. We had a really great time when it came out. We went to see it, all of that good stuff. And then they brought it back to do a, you know, it wasn't a virtual episode. It was absolutely a real episode, but all the characters are on Zoom. For me, I didn't need the episode. I feel like Noah's Ark and so many things live in a specific moment in time. And they are responding to the moment of time, and they are creating space for all the things that come after it. And while I think that whole is absolutely there in terms of there is a need for content about black gay characters as central and the driving force behind it, we really don't have anything like that on TV. The closest thing we would have right now is Pose, but Pose is really... and maybe this is a controversial thing. I don't think it's controversial. I think it's a fact. Pose is about the trans women, which I think is important and necessary as well. So I'm not... Watch Pose, enjoy Pose. If you love Pose, keep watching it. But that show is not about black gay men. You know what I mean? There are black gay male characters in it, but the central driving force of that show are the black trans women. And that is important, and I'm happy for them to have their moment. That said, there's still a need for black gay male stories. But I just feel like Noah's Ark is... They, you know, most stories like that don't age well for 15 years, and not in terms of the character, the actors, or even the storytelling per se, but it's just like, we don't necessarily want to see Carrie 15 years later, and Samantha, and Charlotte, and Miranda. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, because who they become, I don't know that I'm excited about that. Like, if Carrie has a child, I don't know that I want to watch that. She's not someone that I came to for mothering advice. So, my thing with that is, I'm going to just write a pilot for, or not a pilot, but I'm going to write the next episode for Noah's Ark. I guess, why not? That was a tangent. But yeah, so that happened, you know, but it was a really great moment to be able to see them all again, and, you know, to experience that was really exciting and great. And I'm happy Pashki and Poke, who's the creator, the director, and the writer of that series, A, created it, and B, got the gang back together for us to see them. I'm not sure that I need to see those specific characters, other than in this episode I'm about to write, but those specific characters week after week after week. I think that there's an opportunity. We can use the same actors. We can use, you know, all the different pieces I think are great, and like I'm fine with. But I think that like 15 years is a lot of time for any story. You know, I don't know that I want to see the Golden Girls if they were all alive today. And that, you know, that's why the theme for this episode is everything old is new again, because you're about to see in a second, but it's like, I just feel like we've just gotten so, we don't know how to be like, that was a great moment. Now let's have another moment. That, right? Life is supposed to be a series of wonderful and unique and special moments. And I think that right now we're getting to a place where everyone just wants to try to recreate and recapture the joy of a specific moment in time. And it's like, you can't ever catch that again. It's never going to be the same. Nothing's ever going to be the same. You can get all your best friends together and y'all can go back to the place y'all met, and it's going to be a different experience. You know, and that to me is the beauty of life. So rather than sometimes it's good to revisit that place and to just have that heavy sigh and be like, wow, what a great time it was. But I think the most exciting part is get the gang back together, but let's go someplace new. And when you get the gang back together, together, there's probably going to be an addition, whether that's a child, a partner, or a new friend, and there may be some subtractions, whether that's a partner, a child, or some old friends. You know what I mean? Like, things happen and life ebbs and flows, and I think that's wonderful. So yeah, let's just get into it. So what I'm going to do is take a sip of this water. I'm going to snuff out this candle. I was going to blow it out. Actually, I'm going to blow it out. That's like seems so spiritual, but why? Shout out to Brianna Hay for all the people over here watching in Facebook land, for all my friends over here in Instagram land. And basically what I have is a bunch of magazines from a while back. None of them are the current issues. Some of them are older than others. And we're just going to peek and see what the hell was going on in the past. And the real reason why I'm doing this is I started, I would do a wide shot to my office, which looks, the studio is crazy right now because we're renovating. We're adding a podcast studio. Stay tuned for that. The network gave us a little more permission to do some things. And then also we're going to decoupage the bathroom. So I'm going through these, I have my handy dandy scissors and I'll be cutting out pictures. And basically we're going to have like a little vision board part, except it's not a vision board. I don't even know what I want to do with the decoupage. I tend to only have magazines with black people in it. So yeah, I think I want to do like just beautiful black people, celebrities, and maybe slide some pictures of friends and family in there as well. Cartoons and just beautiful imagery of beaches and stuff. And so just, I have like a nice white wall that I think would look really cool decoupaged. And I'm going to see how many times I can say decoupage. Let's play a drinking game. I've got my cocktail. Every time I say decoupage, I take a shot. So the very first magazine I have, this is the most recent one. It's crazy to seem old, but this is the May 2020 issue of Gentleman's Quarterly. And the cover boy, if you cannot tell, is none other than Mr. Kanye West. For all of you that don't know, he's running for president. They just released an interview, I believe it was in Fortune, that explains his platform, his policy, which he doesn't have. Pray for your strong friends and also pray for Kanye, because the man is off. He's vibrating. I like to think that I vibrate on a different frequency as well, but I also like to think it's a frequency that someone would want to vibrate on with me. And I think that Kanye is just in another world. He lives on Earth with us in the body. He just moved to Wyoming. He said that his party that he's running under, he's not a Republican because Trump is running. He's given up MAGA, but he's anti-Joe Biden. And if Donald J. Trump was not there on the Republican ticket, he'd be running on the Republican ticket. But instead, he's running for the birthday party. Because if he wins, it's going to be a celebration. But, I mean, the thing about Kanye West is that it is always going to be entertaining. And if you are a thinker, if you're one of God's thinking children, I think that he does make you think. Because you'd be like, let me just read this a few times to see, is it me? Or does it sound completely crazy? And then you realize that it's not just you. So, yeah, check that out. Miranda Anderson said, is it bad if I vote for him? I think he might be better than Biden. Girl, yes, it is bad because he's not better than Biden because he's a fucking wolf in sheep's clothes, right? Like, I don't even think he's in sheep's clothes. He's just in weird burlap clothing. I have a lot of issues with Joe Biden as well, but I think that the one gift that Joe Biden can give us is that, hopefully he appoints a black woman. He said he's absolutely going to have a female running mate, but politicians fly all the time. But if he has a black woman, or even if, any woman, I don't think Joe Biden's going to make it through 4 years in the White House. And so I think that maybe could be the gift that, like, we elect Joe Biden and then, hopefully like 6 weeks in, but maybe longer, but less than 4 years in, we get our black first lady, our black first female president or our first female president. That is whack that we have to be looking for these fucking backdoor short shrift, which actually, let me jump to the next. Where did she go? I had this one magazine cover. I was going to get to her later, but this is Viola Davis. And this is August 2011. And so, first of all, just shout out to, I know Essence Magazine is having some challenges right now, but there was a cigarette ad in here. These damn Newport ads. Also, shout out to Newport, because the one thing I will say with Newport is that, like, we are very clear about what a Newport ad looks like. Like, you know, it used to say alive with pleasure. I guess you can't really say that about a cigarette company anymore. So now they just say pleasure. But I don't know why there's a cigarette ad here. That's kind of whack. And then it's a heart-shaped pizza. These cigarettes do not present a reduced risk of harm compared to other cigarettes. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Okay. But the reason why I wanted to jump to Viola Davis was that she, I don't know if she posted it, but there was something that a video clip of her where she's talking about her accomplishments, and not in a braggadocious way, but, you know, she simply was just being like, I got the Emmy, I got the Tony, I got the Oscar, and they still don't want to fucking pay me. They call and say you're the Black Meryl Streep, and I'm still not. You know, she listed white artists, Julianne Moore, Meryl Streep, whose careers hers are comparable to. And it just made me realize, like, and I get really upset about this. Part of it is because when I look at Viola Davis, I see my mother, I see my aunts, I see my friends. Like, I see so many beautiful Black women who their whole lives were told by their friends and family that they were beautiful in the communities in which they live with, and their husbands and their partners and spouses and stuff. But for whatever reason, the powers that be did not deem them beautiful or talented or smart or all of the above. And they have really, even more than us Black men, and some of y'all may not want to admit this, but even more than us Black men, and gay Black men are Black men, sometimes I think they've had to fight even harder to just be recognized as valid, both within the female community and then also in the greater world. You know what I mean? I mentioned this when I was on Kiki's and Kimonos, that, you know, that's one of the reasons why I think that we come together, Black gay men and straight Black women, because we share that you know, we are pariahs in our own community and in the greater world. And it's a unique duplicity. But it just makes me really upset that, like, someone has to, it's like, what else do you fucking have to do, right? Like, it wasn't enough to be talented. It wasn't enough to be beautiful. It wasn't enough to, that wasn't enough, even though that's more than enough for white folk. But then now you have to, they're like, okay, maybe if you get a blank, insert whatever award it is, and you get that, and they're like, well then, no, we meant that award. Okay, I did that. Oh no, we meant that award. Bitch, I did that too. It's like, oh wait, I get it. This fucking hurdle is always going to keep moving, and there's no way to fucking win the game. And that makes me very frustrated. It makes me very upset. It makes me very angry. And it just is like, you know what I mean? Because this, like I said, it's 2011. She was covering magazines then. Essence Magazine, a Black women's magazine, but a magazine all the same, a national, a global magazine, all the fucking same. And then you have these other girls who come fly by night, and they're everywhere. They do one little fucking movie. Like, I was thinking about Hamilton. Y'all are so, this ain't even about the show, because that's a whole other episode to deconstruct Hamilton and to just whatever lens you want to look at it. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to talk about that. But what I do know is Hamilton is the biggest fucking show since sliced bread as far as the theater is concerned. You know, in our lifetime, there really hasn't been a show that's had that financial impact and box office receipts, ticket prices, or cultural impact beyond the theater community. And yet and still, the Black children who led that show, they're working. I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like these people are not working, but it's like, I know for a fact that if a white person was in Renee Elise Goldsberry's shoes, a white woman, or if a white man was in Leslie Odom Jr.'s shoes, with all of the receipts they're bringing, because don't get confused, those children were not new to the game when they did that show. These people were not discovered by Hamilton. They had done the work, they had the degrees, they've been on the shows, this was not their first rodeo, and they're working, but their star is nowhere near as bright as it should be, because they're like, talent, check, experience, check, looks, check. What else do you fucking need? In the biggest show ever, check. Won the award for being in the biggest show ever, check. And they still out here, you know, hustling. Meanwhile, people go and do Evan Hansen and they everywhere. I said what I said. So then, this one was a fun one. Ebony magazine. This is August 2015. It's more than a magazine. It's a movement. Full disclosure, I don't think I have a byline in this one, but I might have got a styling credit or something in there. I used to work with them. You can't really see it because the thing, but it's crazy. It says America loves black, and then it's people, but then they cross it out and write culture. And that's so funny because 5 years later, 100 years later, 400 years later, and it's still the same fucking thing. I don't know if it's going to be any pictures. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Looking to jump socioeconomic classes, it's time to get in the money game. Ebony breaks down the steps it takes to ensure your income bracket moves on up. If you're ready to walk the path to financial freedom, see what happens when you play your cards right. So, and then they have like different things. Oh, that's cute. One thing I want to talk about with you guys, not today, but maybe today. No, it's heavy. But I just want you guys to think about the fact that, like, you know, everyone talks to this whole magazine devoted to black enterprise, black wealth, creating generational wealth. And I think that that is great. Like, sure, you know, we live in a capitalist world. But I also want us to think about this. Prioritizing generational wealth or creating a need to create generational wealth is based on an assumption that the world is always going to be fucked up and that there's always going to be gross inequality and you're just trying to get your people on the right side of inequality. And I just want people to think about that and to just think about what does that mean. I'm not saying don't do it, especially if you have children, because it's like at this point it is what it is. If you have kids, you know, you want them to be okay. But it's like, what moves can we make to change the game and not just figure out how to win it? But that's for another day. Upscale magazine, don't know if they're still in production, but it said proudly, and rest in peace to Andre Harrell, it said proudly serving the community since 1989. This one was July 2014. Who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this? Let me give it to the people over here at Facebook, and then let me give it to you guys over here at Insta. It's Tamar Braxton, but she just looks like a whole ass white woman. Talks about marriage, making music, and that unstoppable mouth. Hashtag no filter. Shout out to Tamar though, because she has a cute little show now on VH1 called To Catch a Beautician. And it's a cute little show. If you need something on in the background, you know, you can just do the whole series in a day. Basically on the show, people who got bad haircuts, bad hairdos, they confront the stylist that did it, and then Johnny Wright, Michelle Obama's hairstylist, among other celebrities he's worked with, gives them some tips and tricks, and then they try to fix it. Predictable, thin, but it's a cute little moment. And I feel like it's a good look for Tamar because she just gets to be there and be like, get your life! And, you know, just talk like a gay man and be funny, but in a way that isn't as grating. Johnny balances her out well. He comes with the technical expertise, and she gives you a little bit, I know she don't like a yonla, but she gives you a little bit of a yonla tease, like, girl, that was your sister. There's a lot of sisters fucking up people's hair. This one is another Ebony magazine. It's more than a magazine, it's a movement still. February 2012. This one's in really good condition, by the way. And this was that movie Red Tails. I didn't watch it, but it made me think of Spike Lee's movie. I don't know if I talked about that already. Oh, look, free lotion. Free lotion. You think this lotion is still good? It's from 2012. Fast absorbing, fights dry skin, fresh scent. Not sponsored. We'll see. I'm like so sweaty I couldn't even put lotion on right now, which is, I don't know what would happen. And look, Tamar again with her sisters. Tony, Tracy, Tawanda, Trina, Tamar, MSE will teach you a thing or two on Braxton family values. This is so funny. This is like literal like manifestation, because on this page we have the Braxton sisters, and then over here we have Salon Fabulous. And who would have thunk that, and this is just an ad for Pantene, but who would have thunk that 8 years later, Tamar would have a show about hair. Wow. Wow. But this made me think about the Spike Lee joint, The Five Bloods. Y'all should watch that if you haven't already. I don't like living under your spotlight just because you think I might find somebody worthy. This is January 2014, Jennifer Hudson. She's going to get another cover soon, I'm sure, for doing a Aretha movie. And also, these Target fashions on the back cover are terrible. Fine and fearless. I know who I am and I got this. Who are you? This one is cute. This is It's More Than a Magazine, It's a Movement. June 2011, Ebony. Jill Scott on the cover. For all of you that have not yet seen it, I reposted it. There is a clip you need to watch of Jill Scott talking about her visit to a plantation house. I can't remember which state she was in. And she, first of all, Jill Scott she put out a couple albums that didn't resonate with me, and so I forgot how masterful of a storyteller she is. But she's just storyteller par excellence. Like, I can listen to her tell me anything except for those two albums. Really, it was The Light of the Sun, and then I just kind of fell back after that. Woman, I don't think was as uncomfortable. Like, I didn't have a problem with Woman as much. But it's just an interesting story. How many of you have ever been to a true plantation home? I don't mean a plantation style home, but I mean like an actual plantation. When I was working with Ebony Magazine, I got to visit one in Louisiana, just outside of New Orleans. And I had to say that I was not prepared. I won't say not prepared. I was steadying myself for what I was going to feel, because I had no idea what I was going to feel going to a plantation, because it's really complicated. And I don't know that there are many people in the world outside of Black Americans, maybe Jewish people, who understand this, and Native Americans. So I guess maybe a lot of people, except for like white people. But there was just something about visiting a place where maybe it's not your specific ancestors, but just knowing that your people this is the place where they were persecuted. And I think what makes slavery to me special or unique among these things is that, unlike the concentration camps, slavery lasted for generations, and people were enslaved for generations. And so it meant that, on the one hand, this plantation is where on the one hand, a plantation is where our people were brutalized, they were abused, they were mistreated. But then on the other hand, it was a space that created us, and that is home, and there's sanctity. And there was a meme that went around, a young guy, I don't have his name right now, but he did what he had to do, that he was able to buy the plantation home for his actual ancestors, his actual, great grandparents. I don't know where we are. And also, one thing that people, and if any white people are watching this, if any person who doesn't really understand, even if you're not white, who doesn't understand where we are in history, when we're talking about slavery, we're not talking about great. We're talking about great grands, and depending on who you are, we're talking about, you know what I mean, like great grand maybe, or great grands, right? Like, this is 150 years out. So this isn't thousands of generations or some arbitrary thing. But anyway, he did what he had to do so that he could buy the home that his people built, essentially, and the fields they tended, and all of that. And I salute him for that. I don't know that I could do it, because I just don't know that I could sleep in a bedroom knowing that somebody in my, is this where my great auntie was raped night after night? I don't know that I could do that, but I also understand how someone is like, but my great granddad built this room. And even great auntie getting raped was so that I could be, and so that I could reclaim it. So I get it. That ain't me, but I get it. Look at this. The spirit is present. Spirit is present right now, because literally it's the first page I opened in the Jill Scott magazine. And who is that? That's Johnny Wright, which we were just talking about. Johnny Wright. He's the co-host on, I don't know who needs to hear that today, but do I need to play the lotto? Because I literally was talking about Tamar having a show. I mean, these are facts, right? And then I opened the magazine, and she opposite a damn hair ad, and then, or specifically about salons, and then now there's a magazine about Johnny Wright. Sure, we run the numbers on it. It's probably not that uncommon that these people would have been discussed in these magazines. They are pop figures, and their peak was probably 2011. But still, wow. Get to know the First Lady's main man. He is the man behind Michelle Obama's perfectly coiffed bob and the envy of hairstylists everywhere. With a larger-than-life personality and a stable of other famous clients, popularity is nothing new for Johnny Wright.
He has amassed influence by making women the envy of their social circle since he begged the cool girl in school to let him do her hair for free as a teen. He hasn't had a slow day since. Wow. And it's funny because what I wanted to talk about in this one was the hottest artist, the 25 hottest artists of 2011. I'm the hottest artist of 2020 right now because I'm burning up. Shout out to Queen Latifah, always beautiful, always cover girl. This lip color feels as rich as it looks. You know, one of my pet peeves is when people get quoted with something that is like not quote worthy. Like they attributed that to Queen Latifah. Like, first of all, she didn't say that. Somebody wrote that for her. Second of all, even if we're gonna act like she said it, it's not that deep. To like, why are we attributing that to anyone? Like, this lip color feels as rich as it looks. That's unique to you. Like, so now if I say that, is this plagiarism? Do I need to get this episode cleared now? I don't know what Jill is wearing, but the state of black men. We bring the good news in this solutions-oriented package on education, rehabilitation, and faith, featuring an Ebony exclusive roundtable on what men really think about women. Plus, play the black man's game of life. I just long for the day where we don't consider everything solely, when we talk about black men, about relationships with black women or with women in general. Not because those are not important, but because everybody don't want to have one, either because they're gay or because they're just not in a relationship. But I digress. Page 78. Would it be weird? This would be weird to have in my bathroom because it's just like a CoverGirl ad. So we're not going to do that. The best thing we serve is the community. That's according to McDonald's. Now, gingivitis is shaking in its gums. Queen Latifah said that. Page 78. Oh, look at Janelle Monáe. That's not Janelle Monáe. I'm just keep scrolling. Oh, wait, it is Janelle Monáe. She don't even look like herself. She doesn't even look like herself. They did so much work on her face in this ad. Page 78. How many of these artists, so they said the 25 hottest artists of 2011. Take notes. How many of them do we think are still going to be hot? I'm going to say 6. How many do y'all say? But it's Ebony. So the thing about Ebony that I think we have to consider is that a lot of these are probably like legacy artists. So it's probably one person at least is going to be like Patti LaBelle or Aretha Franklin or someone and be like, she's timeless. She's always hot. So let's go. Maxwell, hot or not? Love Maxwell, fine as he want to be. I would do him, but I don't know that he's hot right now. Kelly Price, no, she wasn't hot in 2011 either. That wasn't true. Drake, he's still hot, sure. So we at 1. The Cool Kids, Marsha Ambrosius. Not still hot. Kanye West, I don't know that we call him hot. He kicked off our show. We're still talking about him. TV on the radio. I actually played tennis with one of them. Super talented artists. I don't know that they make the hottest bands of 2020 list. Santa Gold. This makes me sad because I really like Santa Gold. But no, it didn't happen the way that maybe we thought it would. Jay Electronica, Kirk Franklin, he's still hot, I guess, in like his community, he's still hot. Lil Wayne, I don't know if we would call him hot now. He was on The Masked Singer. That's not where the hot go. Kid Cudi. Willow Smith. James Farm. I now feel like I'm doing in memoriam at an award show. D'Angelo, Common, he's still hot. So I guess we'll give him 2. Toro, and this crazy is Willow Smith was 10 when this came out. That's so crazy. Somebody said Masked Singer is peak 2020 culture though. But that doesn't make you one of the hottest musicians. It means that you did a gimmick. And it's like, to me, Masked Singer, Dancing with the Stars, those are shows you either do on your way up or your way down. You don't ever do it when you're coasting at the top. So it's like either you are like, I'm about to become a star, so you do it, or you're like, you're on your way down. But y'all, I'm gonna let y'all have it. Masked Singer, fine. Wayne. So who are the 3? Just to recap right now, we said Drake, Kirk Franklin, and Wayne. Maybe Common. So that's 4. Toro y Moi. So what's interesting here, they have this thing that says, Future Sound, if you don't listen to Radio Disney or peruse YouTube with ferocity, you might have already missed the hottest songs from the younger set. Not to worry, here's your crib sheet. Jawan Harris. I just wanted to, let's see if any of these people are still making music. Jawan Harris. Oh, Kid Cudi, y'all said that's 5. Jawan Harris, Willow Smith, Diggy Simmons, Jessica Jarrell, Jacob Lattimore, and Mindless Behavior. Beyonce, of course, she's still hot. Mary J. Blige. I think that Mary J. Blige has like a permanent lane for her people, but Mary ain't. Somebody said no to Common. Oh, a couple of people said no comment. Fine, no comment. So then who do we have is, we'll come back to it. Beyonce, of course, Mary J. Blige, Twin Shadow, Rick Ross, J. Moss, The Weeknd, Odd Future. Also, let's just take a moment for this Beyonce look. Like, what's so funny to me is this picture is like weirdly, ridiculously frozen in time and also timeless. Like, this is such a iconic Beyonce look, pose, moment. But also, if you follow her closely, you can see that this is that like 2011-12 era. This is the post Sasha Fierce pre-4 era. Well, no, 2011 is 4. I think 4 came out already. This is the 4 era. Actually, this doesn't look that 4. This is an old picture. That's not really 4. 4, she was trying to get a little edgier and she was pregnant. But also that could be today because all she wears is bodysuits. But The Weeknd, Odd Future, Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz to me is like Mary J. Blige, like there, and like Maxwell. So I feel like Lenny, Common, Mary, Maxwell are, even Kanye's weird ass, they're legends, so there's always a space for them, but I don't know that people are like, and they're good looking people, I don't know if people are like, yes, them today. That was it. That was 25. Oh, this is sad. Ebony exclusive, the first King of Bling, Andre Harrell. We speak your name. Wow, I didn't know this was going to be so heavy. I almost cried once. See, this is how I want my bathroom to look. Like how this just is like all these pictures. I want it to be like that, but different. So how many people did we get? He has a bio coming out. Which he? That was Master Cleanse era, LMAO. Yeah, so that was 2011. So now, life comes at you fast. It all belongs to me. To me, loving you is hard. I'm the only person that knows this song, by the way. For those of you that don't know, that's Chloe and Halle. No, I should have made this a meme. I'm going to tell my kids this was Chloe and Halle. No, this is Brandy and Monica. What if we found out that the gag was they really were half-sisters, and Monica was like the illegitimate child from Brandy's father's marriage with Sonia Norwood, if Willie Ray Norwood, and Sonia Norwood had like drama, and there was like an illegitimate child, and it was Monica, and so that's why Monica and Brandy don't get along, because it's like the classic issue of like, I don't like you because you grew up in the house with mommy and daddy, and I don't like you because you got to have like daddy on the weekends and like these clandestine moments, and when I wanted to get a new car I couldn't because they were sending money to you and you was a little hood. I think I want to write that movie. But they have the 25 hottest artists of 2012 in here because it's more than a magazine. It's a movement. Shout out to Ebony, the music issue. And for all of you that don't know. See, look, and that's what I'm saying. Monica and Brandy, their rivalry, family drama, their family. And how they healed their broken hearts as sisters. I added the as sisters part. But boys can be affected by HPV disease too. Gardasil helps protect both your son and daughter. Trend report, Beyonce and Jay-Z. So let's see what they are talking about. And like I said, what's this? June 2012. So the music issue moves month to, June, I guess. Oh, because June is Black Music Month. And LGBTQ Pride Month. And Immigrant Pride Month. And Caribbean Awareness Month. And Juneteenth. And something else, I'm sure. June just has a lot to do. And I have good friends whose birthdays are in June. Memphis Vaughn, Carmen Muhammad, so many other people. The history of house music, no. The few chosen DJs. Sound off the best releases of 2012. Page 110. They put this all the way in the back of the book. See, don't they look like sisters, though, that are like, and then they just need to put daddy in the middle, and then her mother and her mother. They could get a fucking Oscar for that. Let me write that movie. It'll be like double platinum, but with siblings. I think it'd be brilliant. Sound Off, the best album releases of 2012. That's not what I wanted. The 25 hottest artists. That's what I wanted. They have an ad for Fashion Fair Cosmetics in there. Remember that? What? Why? This is what I used to hate as a kid when you would see like something on the cover. I guess this is the same thing. Lil Wayne, still on the list. Y'all said he still got it. He released I Am Not a Human, Being Two, and Birdman and Little. Okay, whatever. Azalea Banks. Can we just pour one out for Azalea? We speak your name. I really feel badly for her because I think that she is just like the victim of circumstance. Oh, look, my goddaughter's in the house. The mini Mila. Honey, you gotta log off. This is for grown-ups. We can talk offline. PG-13. Well, you're not 13. G, later. Jay-Z. Oh, CeeLo Green. Is he uncanceled? I don't remember what we netted out with that one. Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. Can we talk about, like, Missy for me is kind of like the Viola thing of, like, what else do you fucking have to do? Like, Missy Elliott to me is one of the most dynamic, genre-defining and defying artists of our time. And if she had a dick, we'd be talking about her, and all other things were the same. We'd be talking about her completely differently than we do now. And I get very upset about that. Like how long it took her to get a Video Vanguard award. Like what Missy continually does. How she stretches our minds. Like how she can do it, put her thing down, flip it and reverse it. She can do it on a R&B record. She can do it on a house record. I made that up. But she can do it on so many different things. I live for it. The Weeknd is here. Rick Ross. Esperanza Spalding. You know, I think she's niche. Willow Smith. They was really trying to make Willow Smith. This list is sounding very redundant. Jay Electronica, B.O.B., Nas. Is he uncanceled? I can't keep up. Brianna Perry is I gotta read who she is. I don't know. Is a Miami rapper who was practically born in the studio because of connections forged by family members. I'm not familiar. Frank Ocean. I don't know where he is these days. Santa Gold. They still trying to push Santa Gold. Tyler, the Creator. I think he's still hanging on. Leona Lewis. Oh, Leona Lewis. Beautiful gowns. Beautiful notes. That's it. Keep bleeding. But that's on cracks. Closed off from love. Didn't need the pain. Once or twice was enough, and it was often changed. Time passing, you know where I'm falling. Janelle Monáe. Michael Jackson and Freddie Mercury duets. Okay, because this is about albums or whatever. Bobby Womack, D'Angelo. Is that 25? These people, let me see if they can't count. Is it me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. That was 21. But I'm going to let them live. Oh, because they didn't give a list. That was 21. But then they list all these other things where they say old friends are back. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's more than 4, which is what we would need to make 25. I don't know. I'm not good at the math, apparently. Look at John Legend. This was fun. Back down memory lane. Leona Lewis is now doing voiceover for the Calm app. Good for her. She deserves to work. I know she stepped in for Nicole Scherzinger for Cats on Broadway. Memory, like the sound of the pavement. But so that's all I got. I was gonna do the 10 hottest couples as well because look at this. It's fucking Mariah Carey and why can I think of his name right now? I'm looking at it. It says it right here. Fucking Nick Cannon, and I didn't read it. I remembered it. But maybe for another day. Because I have to decoupage my wall. Take a shot. So that's really all I have for you today. I'm really excited about being able to be here with you guys. So many new things are coming down the pike. Like I said, we're going to decoupage my wall. And we're going to... I'm getting a podcast studio. I don't have a podcast, but I'm getting a podcast studio. I'm getting a, and it'll have like better sound than we have here. It'll be really crispy and clean. I am going to have more art on the walls. I just ordered some stuff online from like a really cool independent artist that's coming. Yeah, so that's what I got. The other thing I want to just say is like, you know, life ain't been no crystal stair, honey. It's been rhinestone. And I keep climbing. And I encourage you to do the same. And most importantly, I want each and every one of you to choose joy. Because if you can't, that's not my show. Kidding. No, choose joy. That's all we have. You know, that is all we fucking have. And whether you are black or white, yellow, green, blue, pink, or otherwise, being joyous in this moment and recognizing and celebrating that Black Lives Matter and Black art is beautiful, but it is impossible without Black people alive and well. Without that recognition, you know, it's a whole hot mess. That's all I got. That's really all I got for you kids, you know. Yeah. So there's that. Bye. I think, do I want to sing the It all belongs to me. To me. Loving you is hard. I feel like I'm about to hurt myself. And I don't want to do it, baby. Oh. It's like you have no heart. Close his eyes. And nothing can make you melt. Oh, no, no, no. Hold on a minute, baby. You must be. Somebody said this song is not a hit. I'm like 8 years later, I'm going to still try to make it a hit. Because it's going to be the theme song for the movie I'm writing about them. All right, I'm done. Bye. Big finger.